While some dream of a growing investment portfolio, others crave the relief of being free from financial debts. But how should one strike a balance between these two goals? In fact, making a choice between paying off debts and investing could be a crucial decision that shapes our financial future. In some cases, the financial implications of this decision could amount to tens of thousands or even millions of dollars. Both paths have their pros and cons, and to determine which option is right for you, we need to carefully consider them. Welcome to our channel, friends. Today we will find out the answer to the question, should we immediately pay off our debts? Or can we make significant profits from our debts? This is a question I asked in the community part of our channel this week, and many of you complained about having a large amount of debt. So, I decided to immediately make a video about this topic. I kindly ask you to watch the video until the end. I believe that I am sharing very valuable information with you in this video. I am sure that by the end of the video, you will agree with me. Let's move on to the video. Before making this critical decision between debt payment and investing, it's vital to establish a solid financial foundation. Is it better to quickly diminish debts or to make an investment with potential for growth in the future? Resolving this dilemma and shaping your financial future will aid in making sensible and informed decisions when determining the future of your investments and debts. The importance of paying off an investment or debt cannot overshadow being prepared for unexpected expenses. There's no point in investing or paying off debts without an emergency fund, because a single financial crisis could reset all progress. Imagine your car needing a significant repair and you have no saved cash on hand. In such a case, you would have to either liquidate your investments or enter a new debt. A good rule is to save 3 to 6 months' worth of your living expenses in an emergency fund. This is the first step in establishing a solid financial footing. Perhaps the most attractive aspect of reducing debt and living debt-free is the extra room you'll gain in your budget. When various debt payments are being drawn from your account, it becomes hard to set aside some money for yourself. Every payment that occurs for you makes living paycheck to paycheck and just getting by more likely. In this situation, you might feel as if you're just going to work every day to pay the bills, and you can't make any financial progress. Yes, your debt balance may be slowly decreasing, but most of these payments are actually going to the lender as interest. After all debts are paid off, a larger part of your paycheck will be yours, and you'll feel as if you've gotten a significant pay raise. A person who gets rid of their debts can easily increase their retirement investments, which can potentially offer the opportunity for earlier retirement. However, some may prefer to channel their extra cash towards investments while they are not yet completely debt-free. The reason for this is that the return earned from investments could greatly exceed debt interest, thereby carrying the potential for large profits. It might sound appealing to earn a return of 10% or more from your investments instead of paying off debt with 5% interest, right? But paying off debts completely and moving on to investments can take many years, and during this time, you could miss out on a substantial amount of compound interest. Friends, I'm taking a very short break here. I'll share some critical information about debts and investments with you shortly. So please watch this section until the end. Before moving on to this part, if you've watched the video up to here and liked it, could you take a moment to like my video? I have prepared this video spending hours for you. I am sure that you will support me. Let's continue with the video, friends. The biggest determining factor in aggressively paying off debts or directing extra money towards investments is typically risk. Paying off debt actually provides a guaranteed return. For example, if a credit card company charges you 30% interest and you pay off this debt, this actually means that your money has earned a 30% return without taking any risk. However, investment always carries some risk. It may be possible to earn a return of 10% or more by investing in the S&P 500, but this is not a guaranteed outcome. Certainly, the S&P 500 has had an average annual return of over 10% since its inception, at least according to Investopedia. However, it should not be forgotten that it doesn't always make a profit. The S&P 500 returned negative 10% in 2000, negative 13% in 2001, and negative 23% in 2002. Then, after some profitable years, it had a negative 38% return in 2008. While your probability of winning in the long run is high, returns are never guaranteed, and this is an important point to keep in mind when preparing your financial plan. To explain the impact of paying off debt and investing money in the stock market with a simple real-life example. Let's say you take out a mortgage for $350,000 for a period of 30 years at an interest rate of 4%, and your monthly payment is $1,600.71. The money you earn from work is quite good, and there's an extra $1,000 in your budget to either accelerate your mortgage payments or use for investing. However, you're uncertain about which option will put you in a better place at the end of 30 years. In the first scenario, if you consider paying off the mortgage quickly, you complete your mortgage in just 14 years and 5 months instead of 30 years by adding an extra $1,000 to your monthly payments. In this case, you end up paying $110,799 in interest. After this, you transfer your mortgage payment and your extra $1,000 to an investment. You would have a total of $2,671 per month. If you continue to invest this amount for the remaining 15 years and 7 months, as a result, you end up saving a total of $1,203,916. If you subtract the total interest you paid, which is $110,799, you will end up with $1,093,117 at the end of 30 years. In the second scenario, you pay off your mortgage with the minimum payment amount and allocate your extra $1,000 to your investments. In this case, at the end of 30 years, you end up paying a total of $251,544 in interest, which is much more than you paid in the first scenario. However, if you continue to invest your $1,000 each month in the S&P 500 over the same period, with an average return rate of 10%, your investments will reach a total of $2,171,000 at the end of 30 years. When you subtract the interest you paid from this invested amount, you are left with $1,919,456. There is a difference of $826,339 between the returns of the second scenario and the first scenario. This means investing your extra $1,000 in the S&P 500 would yield over $800,000 more than paying off your mortgage at the end of 30 years. This difference can determine your retirement period or eliminate the need to work for many more years. These scenarios do not consider the risks of stock market investment, and the average return in the long run is not guaranteed. Inflation is also an important factor. While your mortgage payments remain stable for 30 years, the value of the dollar decreases over time. If inflation averages 4%, the value of the dollar will have every 18 years. However, it should not be forgotten that there are certain risks in both scenarios. Paying off mortgages quickly generally provides a lower risk and a more guaranteed return. Investments can offer higher returns, but these are not guaranteed, and there can be fluctuations in their value. Each individual should determine the best option by considering their own financial situation, goals, and risk tolerance. Paying back your debt with less valuable dollars while simultaneously investing in assets that match and exceed the rate of inflation can give you the best of both worlds. The mortgage is a more extreme example when it comes to the decision of paying off debt or investing, and this is for two primary reasons. Firstly, mortgages typically offer very low interest credit and might be the lowest interest credit available. The average mortgage rate in 2021 was around 3%, and it's near 5% now, which is very close to the rate of inflation. So essentially, you're borrowing for virtually nothing. This is why mortgages can be attractive for some investors. Secondly, mortgages are typically long-term loans that can last up to 30 years. With the loan duration being this long, the difference between paying off the loan or investing extra money becomes much more significant, and this is a subject worth closely inspecting. There are a few key points to consider when deciding whether or not to pay off debt, because this can be a much more complicated matter than you initially thought. Cash flow is a significant advantage that could free up your budget, and this is critical, especially for older investors. As you approach retirement, your primary concern should be cash flow, not which strategy will earn you more money over 30 years. Risk is also a significant factor, and it's important to understand this when deciding on a strategy. Generally, paying off high-interest loans and holding on to low-interest loans will yield the highest gain in the long term. Also, consider gradually paying off your debt and using extra income to invest at the same time. People have strong opinions on this subject. The numbers accurately portray each scenario, and the evaluation of risk and reward is up to you. Take into account all the pros and cons of both options to decide what's best for you. Yes, friends, you must have realized the importance of this video. Even though it's a bit complex, the financial mindset is actually very simple. It just seems a bit challenging to us because we didn't get educated about these matters at an early age. Share your questions in the comment section below right away. You know, this channel was established to develop this mindset together. I respond to the comments in the video within minutes. I would appreciate it if you also mention in the comments what topic you want for next week's video. I put a lot of effort into this video, and I'm sure you will support me, friends. Wishing to see you in the next video, and may you have high earnings.